The Gotcha Boys are back, this time taking aim at Tim Pool. If you're a poor, unfortunate soul like myself who wastes their time on Twitter, you may recognize the big dumb ice cream head of Dan O'Sullivan. Oh, Danny Boy here wrote a few articles for Vice, and now writes a monthly newsletter that you have to pay for. Sounds enticing. When Dan isn't hard at work, his other passion is on Twitter, searching for secret racists that he can expose. And when Daniel can pull himself away from complaining about how Joe Rogan is turning your children into Nazis while trying to bait the SPLC to attack him, he turns to his second favorite target, Tim Pool. Yes, Tim Pool, Dan's white whale. If only he could catch Tim and expose him as the secret dog-whistling racist that Dan just knows he is, then Dan could die a happy man. And yesterday, Danny Boy thought he finally reached his lifelong goal when Unicorn Riot, a seemingly pro-far-left, pro-Antifa group, we'll come back to them later, posted the chat logs from Tim's Discord.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, I don't know what the point is of that when the Discord was public, so anyone could have accessed it. But as soon as they did, old Danny Boy was on the case, desperately searching, adrenaline pumping, heart pounding. Danny just had to find something to prove that Tim was really racist. And then he found it. With tears of joy streaming down Dan's face, he took a screen cap and posted it on Twitter. Yikes! Holy crap, you can't even make this stuff up. Yikes! At Timcast doesn't sound like so much of the liberal realist he always makes himself out to be in his Discord. Homie is adding America's biggest anti-Semite to the 4chan Nazi reading list. Thank you, Unicorn Riot, for publishing this. Now let's see what he found. Consider the assertion that Jews are more materialistic than non-Jews. One could try to avoid the question by hoping that materialism isn't a measurable trait like IQ, except that it is, or that materialism might not be heritable in individuals, except that it is nearly certain it would be if someone bothered to check. Or perhaps the Jews aren't really a race, although they certainly differ ancestrally from non-Jews, or that one wouldn't actually find an average difference in materialism, but it seems perfectly plausible that one might. In case anyone is interested, a biological theory of Jewish behavior by the white nationalist psychologist Kevin MacDonald actually exists. Wow. That seems really bad. Why would Tim post such a statement? When you read it, it doesn't sound at all like the way Tim speaks or writes. Maybe I should do 2 seconds of research to see what the context for this comment is. All you gotta do is click the magnifying glass, and we find, why is Vox entertaining the JQ? With a link that takes us to a Vox article where, lo and behold, we can see the exact quote. Yes, Tim wasn't declaring this as a statement of fact, but was quoting it in absolute shock that Vox, the Ezra Klein pro-identity politics publication, would print such a statement. Yes, Danny Boy tweeted out Tim denouncing racism, but dishonestly made it look like Tim was the one being racist himself. Oh, Danny Boy, how could you? Now, maybe you're saying, maybe Dan didn't realize it. He somehow found this one post and was just too dumb and too lazy to check the context. Well, the thing is, when Dan was called out by this bit of dishonesty, do you think he deleted the tweet and apologized? Of course not! It's current year. You think a regressive blue checkmark on Twitter would apologize or admit fault ever? No, Dan instead doubled down and just dishonestly moved the goalpost. First to the, if I mock you while you're correcting me, maybe the people will forget that I just lied about you. Next it was, "Oh, well, yeah, it could be a quote from a Vox article, but you secretly agreed with it, and we're just pretending to be shocked by it." You see, this stupid ice cream mask is actually the Professor X helmet, and Dan has the ability to read minds. And then when that wasn't working, he further moved the goalpost to, "Oh my god, someone on your Discord has a happy merchant avatar. This somehow proves that Tim is really the secret racist." Yes, that's the ticket. Now pay me to receive my boring newsletter, folks, or I will whine about people like Tim Pool once a month. This is how the zombie lies start. Someone like Dan posts a lie, and no matter how much evidence proving them wrong comes out, their idiot followers will parrot this BS lie in a pitiful shutdown attempt day after day. We can even see in that very thread someone parroting the fake "Tim spoke in Iran" lie that the SBLC posted, took down, and then had to apologize for. So now we have another zombie lie to heap onto the pile. Even actor Paul F. Tompkins repeated the BS. So expect this repeated lie from the Gotcha Boys in the coming future. Hilariously, in the replies, someone followed the exact same goalpost-moving cognitive dissonance as Dan did, but with me. See, they got quite angry that I posted the full context and responded with,
I'm sure that the dipshit who makes videos mad about hoes and Boy Scouts is defending Timmy P in good faith.
And you cannot tell me that's not the voice you'd expect that dog to make. You're only proving my point. My video is the exact opposite of that. It's pro-girls and Scouts.
Sure thing, TERF.
I'm neither a feminist nor a TERF. I don't know what you're even talking about.
Here we go. I'll correct it to transphobe.
As if anything in that conversation had to do with transphobia. Look at that goalpost rolling straight down the hill and into a ravine. Now, this supposed leak of a public Discord chat comes from Unicorn Riot, the seemingly pro-Antifa, pro-communist, independent journalist who are most memorable for posting that hilarious Antifa training video.
We're invested in building material force of resistance against the rising nature of fascism in this country and obviously the longer history of white supremacy.
Now this story has a personal and terrible twist for Tim. Apparently one of the co-founders for Unicorn Riot was Tim's friend back in the day, and he has ghosted Tim about this whole situation. A link to Tim's video about it is in the description. Now, what I'll be curious to see is whether this false lie from Dan O'Sullivan spawns some Tim Pool hit pieces from the online rags like the Daily Dot. They probably won't use the same lie that Dan did because it's too easy to check, but instead they'll find someone somewhere on the chat logs saying something racist or offensive, and they'll hold it up and cry, See, Tim Pool's audience is full of horrible racists. Therefore, he himself must be racist too. Now that might happen.